What's up, everyone? It's your boy, The Business, coming back at you live for episode 28 of The Business. Let's be real. Tonight's special guest I'm going to have on is Carlos Lopez from Unplugged Brewery. I was able to have a chance to connect with Carlos. I had been watching this brewery come to life and really wanted to know a little bit more about it. And it was funny because I did a show a few back with Blaine Perry, and Carlos happened to chime in and was like, yo, what's up with Unplugged? Holler at me. And I was like, I definitely got to do so. And was glad I did. I had known Carlos from way back. You know, he and I happened to go to Southview together back in the day. I was a few years older than him, but he ran around with a crew of kids that I knew from when I was young. So, of course, I knew Carlos from that time. And yeah, when we started talking, I mean, he called me the other night, and it was like, you know, old times, and that's how it is with people from Lorain. You don't got to run in the same crews, but you got a lot of the same stories and a lot of the same, you know, life tales as it goes, you know. So it was cool to watch what it was that he was able to accomplish. He and I talked about some stories of his life, and we're gonna get into all that, you know. And I'm gonna bring to life what Carlos has done and how he's been able to bring Unplugged Brewery to what it is today and to where they're looking to go in the future. I did want to give one shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Much respect. I know sometimes we don't get it the way, you know, it deserves, but just know that our kids always love us and they appreciate everything that we do. So with that being said, The Business, let's be real. Episode 28 begins now. Welcome back, everyone, to The Business. Let's be real. A special guest, Carlos Lopez. Carlos, how you feeling tonight, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me. And like you said, happy Father's Day to everyone out there, man. I know, you know, single dads or together families, whatever it may be. Happy Father's Day, and we'll toast one to that for sure. Unplugged, of course.
So yeah, you know, I know you've said you and I've talked before when we were talking about how, you know, you've caught a couple of shows in the past, and you kind of know the format of what I do. I mainly talk about you and like your process to the game, you know what I'm saying, and what you and some of the ways you took. And you know, I usually start from an early age and walk you through just all your life experiences to what led you to where you are today, and then look where you are looking to go in the future. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and kind of ask you about Lorain and kind of that situation growing up. I know you know, grew up in Lorain, South Side, one of the South Side kids, right?
Yes, right. Definitely. South Side, I was right by. I was off 32nd Street, right next to Oakwood, man. Yeah. That was her stomping ground right there.
So yeah, just, I mean, chop it up a little bit about that and what it was like growing up in Lorain for you.
Lorain was great for me. You know, Lorain is, you know, was packed with culture. You know, it was, you know, Southside Latinos, man. And honestly, I thought that it was all that was in the world was Latinos growing up as a kid, man. That's all we saw, you know, and tons of family gatherings. I mean, just, oh, I miss those days, not gonna lie. You know, as a kid, there was a party. My mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, it doesn't matter. There was a party, there was a pig. It wasn't just a party. It was like a pig roast. There was like at my aunt's house, she had like this swing set where they would take the swings off, and then it was just like a sand pit, and they would use the swing set, just run a rod through a whole pig and just roast that bad boy off the swing set. Yeah, and just, you know, Spanish music going and a good time, you know. Like I said, you know, I thought it was just a world full of Puerto Ricans and culture back then, man. It was an awesome time, man, and I loved it. I love Lorain, you know, born and raised there, and I definitely say Lorain made me who I am today, for sure.
That's cool. That's what's up, you know, and people don't understand that. I mean, Now I know you had gone through school with Lorain City Schools.
Yeah.
How many kids were there in your family?
Oh, my family's three other brothers, Angel, Victor, and Hector, which everyone called Mush, which I thought his name was Mush until I was early on in life. I don't know. Usually Puerto Rican families, they just give you these nicknames that just stick with you, right? My older brother, his name's Angel, but we called him Chilean, and I don't even know what that means. No clue, but that's what his name was when he was born, and that's what we called him. And like I said, I didn't know his name was Angel until I was older, and I know my little brother was named Hector until he was a little older. We called him Mush, and that's how Puerto Rican's family do. They just call you whatever they want to call you, and that sticks with you.
We got some people chiming in. I'm gonna post it up for us.
Yeah.
Bart Gonzalez.
Oh, my man Bart, I see him. What's up, Bart? Yeah, me and Bart hung out the other day. Man, Bart's doing some wonderful things for the community, man. I so respect that dude. We knew Bart. He used to live right around the corner from us.
That's true.
So we lived on 32nd. He was on 33rd on the corner house. So yeah, it's small world. People from Lorain, we know everybody. You ain't from Lorain unless you know everybody in Lorain. That's a fact.
Yeah. I actually had Bart on a few shows back too to talk about some of the stuff he's doing with Lorain Proud and how he's trying to help revitalize that city. And I think you're part of that too. I mean, they were happy to see that you were coming on because you're part of that Lorain Proud. You're making these people from the city proud of what it is that you're accomplishing and what it is that the message that you're trying to portray and what it is that you're doing. And I think that that's the whole reason why I'm trying to shed a light on these kind of things so that you local business owners and you people trying to reconnect your city and get it going again. I mean, that's important, man. So
yeah, that's what we're all about. On Unplugged, outside of myself, Unplugged is all about community. And, I fell in love with Elyria. I'm born and raised in Lorain, and I love Lorain with all my heart. But my son, he went to Elyria school because his mom was a teacher there. And she's been a teacher at that. She followed him pretty much every school he went through from Northwood all the way to Elyria High, from like 6th grade all the way to graduation. So I have a big respect for Elyria. I live in Elyria now. I moved to Elyria. And I love the mayor, Mr. Whitfield, Mayor Whitfield. And together we're trying to do some big things for Elyria. I'm trying to put Elyria on the map, definitely.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I guess now if you want to talk more about, like I said, when the growing up process in Lorain, you went to Southview. What were your plans after Southview? Like, what was it? I mean, I know you went to school. I know you went to the University of Toledo, but was that something that you were planning on doing from the get, or tell me about that?
Yeah, it's weird. So my father passed away when I was in 6th grade. So I had to be like, I think I was 11, and when he passed away, my mother, she told us that, he wanted you all to go to college. She actually gave me this little card, and it said I went to college, and it has my dad's picture on it. And college is completely misspelled, I'm purposely, I believe. But she gave me that, and she said, your father always wanted you to go to college, and for all of us boys to go to college. He didn't want the factory life for you, because if you look at my family, we're all mechanics. Every last one of them were mechanics, and I was expected probably to be a mechanic, but for me, it was like, no, I'm gonna do this college thing. And I would definitely, if you knew me in school, I was a goofball. I just goofed off more than I paid attention in school. So me going to college was like, this dude ain't going to college, but I stuck with it. And I said, my dad wanted us to go to college, so I'm gonna go to college. So I did Toledo. I did Toledo for a year, and then I had my son when I was down there, and it made me come back, but I didn't give up. I ended up going to Lorain County Community College and getting my associate's degree, and I actually dual majored in electrical engineer and computer maintenance and repair, and huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah,
some
it is. That's
goofball
awesome. That is awesome, man. Like for real,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
times,
And then I didn't stop, right? It was just like I gotta keep doing this, you know. My mom said my dad wanted us to go to college. Well, I'm gonna keep going to college. So then I signed up for I got a job, and I got a job at Lorain in Elyria, and I'm just doing computer repair. And from there I was like, man, I gotta keep going to college. So I signed up for online classes through University of Phoenix, and I just stuck with it. So I was working in the morning, at night I was doing classes, and that's all I did. That's all I knew, all I did, and I did that for 2 straight years. Got a bachelor's on information technology from University of Phoenix.
that's awesome,
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, no, it's not always going to be the straight path, dude. And that's what's funny is like, a lot of people expect for it to just be etched out for them. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to school and 2 years I'm going to have my associates, in 4 years I'm going to have my bachelor's, and I'm going to be.
It took me a while to get my associates. I took my time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew, I was a big video game guy, right? I think every kid is. So I was like, I think video games are cool. Maybe computers is the route I'll go. And, once I started taking classes for it, kind of just roped me in. I was like, oh man, it's cool, and bought me a little computer. And I started tinkering with it, messing around with it. And then when I just took it on from there. I was like, man, I love computers. I was building people's computers. I was doing all kind of stuff with them. So that's kind of what led me into that. But really, I didn't know. When I went to University of Toledo, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I think I picked engineering, like electrical engineering or something, mainly because my stepdad, he was an electrical engineer. And eventually, I just when I came back, I went to the computer program through LCCC.
Well, part of your dual degree though was in still electrical engineering, though, right?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about electrical engineering.
The IT is what attracted you a little bit more.
Yeah. So so at LCC, there was like 2 extra classes, right? And that's just was my drive, like I was like, I could have not taken those 2 extra classes and just got my degree. But I was like, man, if I take these 2 extra classes, and man, they were so hard. It was like digital electronics. It was just math and physics for the most part. And they were like, if you take these 2 classes, we'll give you the degree in electrical engineering. And I was like, the hell with it. I'm going to do it. So I stuck around for 2 extra classes. It was an extra semester, actually, and ended up majoring in electrical engineering, and like never done anything with it. Right. I have it. I love that degree, but yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about electronics, to be honest. Yeah, like I'll electrocute myself in a heartbeat, changing a light bulb, probably.
And then that's funny because sometimes you get degrees and stuff that you're never going to use.
Yeah.
A lot of people have done that.
I was like 2 extra classes. What the hell,
Sure.
So I took it, and it was the hardest 2 classes I've ever taken, but we pushed through it and we got there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did, but like I said, I don't use that degree. Yeah. It's just paper.
I'm like, you talked about before you finished your bachelor's, though, that you started working with Lorain. Can you talk somewhat about that, like that position? Because you held that position for a while. I was looking at the resume. You held it from like 02 to 12, which is, either almost 10 years or a complete 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know where in the year you started and began. But can you talk something about that profession? And
that was a weird time in my life. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was just content, just being content. I didn't really have any drive then. I knew I had a job, and it really didn't pay that well, but it was a job, and I just stuck it out. And I love everybody at Lorain. They're like family to me. I see them all the time. They come down to the brewery, but I stayed there for 10 years, and there was really no growth path for me. And after a while, I was like, man, I gotta do something different. It was like, I'm just 10 years here, and like I said, it's a great place, but it was just like it wasn't for me. And that's when I started thinking like, man, I got to start doing stuff. So I started getting into, doing side hustles like computer repair. I was like, man, I'm pretty good at fixing computers. I met a lot of people at Lorain, and it really started a lot of people on the shop floor. They called me up and like, hey, you fix our computers here. You think you can come down, come check us out, fix our church's computers, fix this side business computers. And I really started doing that heavily. I was fixing everybody's computer. I was the neighborhood computer fixer where I was living, and just everybody at Lorain would call me and just side business. I think my company was called my name backwards. Man, that brings back, it's called Sorac. So it spelled my name backwards, called Sorac. So I had a website. I had, oh, that's funny. I had a little logo design. Oh, it was horrible. But yeah, that was my company. I was invoicing people with Sorac computer repair and maintenance. But yeah, that's where it really started, kind of like me trying to make something of myself.
Expanding,
expanding. I was getting good with computers. I was able to fix them pretty quickly. But after like 5 years there, I started thinking like, man, I gotta do something different. What can I do? And that's when I started getting into just doing all kind of side hustles and just, taking some passions that I had outside of work and trying to turn them into businesses.
Yeah. That's super cool, man. That's super cool. Now you talked about that being the start. Hold on, because I know then after 12, you then jumped in with the Cleveland Indians staff, and I know you was doing IT out there for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that position because I'm sure that was a pretty cool job,
man. So hands down, probably the most fun job I ever had. Right. So I was at Lorain, and the position opened up at the Cleveland Indians. And I don't even remember how I came across it, because I really wasn't looking for another job. While I was at Lorain, I was like really content with what I was doing. And I don't know why, because I wasn't getting paid. But I came across.
You got comfortable. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I was just comfortable. Like, you wake up, you go to work, you go home. You wake up, you go to work, come home. And I think somebody sent me like, hey, you should apply. It's a computer tech position at the Indians. And I did. And, eventually got the job, right? And man, it's funny because my last day at Lorain, when I went to break the news to him that I was going to work with the Indians, I went to Dairy Queen and I got a cake. And on the cake, it said, I quit.
Oh.
No, but it's like, I've been there for 10 years and everybody knew me. They knew I was a goofball. So it was cool. It was cool. Like, trust
me. Was it an Indians cake at least? Did you get it made up with cheese waffle on there or something?
It was whatever. Like, we thought about it.
You should have got a cheese waffle.
We was out to lunch. Like,
hey guys, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, we was literally out to lunch and we was like, let's just get a cake that says I quit. Because at the time, my buddy, Scott Raycar, who I worked with at Lorain. We were like, we were coming back off of lunch and we were like, let's go get a cake and just write I quit on it and break the news to our boss, Ron. And Ron's still a good friend of mine. Like, I love Ron to death. And I was like, I knew he wouldn't, it was a joke. Everybody knew me as a jokester. So I took that cake in and, I don't know if he had candles on or not, but I set it up front and I said, hey, I got cake. And it said I quit on it. And everybody had a ball. It was pretty fun. It was funny. Yeah. I still have pictures of that in my phone saved from that. But yeah, so I go work for the Indians. It's like you're a celebrity. It really is. Like, it changed everything about, people were just like loving to talk to me, wanted to know more. As an employee, you get to go to every game. You get the tickets. I was able to give tickets out to friends. It was like you were a part of the team and a part of that lifestyle, if you will. Like, we were allowed to use the gym.
You're a part of the organization now.
Yeah. No, right?
Those boys would have won a World Series championship. Guess what? You get a ring.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. And right. Yeah. No kidding. It's the slim down version, but no, it's still expensive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so that mean, you got to meet the players. You got to meet. Hell, I worked out with some of them. I worked out with Salazar back in the days. You'd be in the gym and they'll just be in there working out.
Sure.
Sandy Alomar I was cool with. Tito, I fixed his computer on multiple occasions.
That's awesome.
Hammy, good friend of mine. Every now and then I'll text him just to say congrats on a day or something. So yeah, no, it was a good time. I had a lot of fun, and I met, being in the help desk, because that's what I did for them. So I did the computer repair for them as well. And everyone calls you, no matter who it is. You meet everyone because you got to fix their computer or give them the new computer or whatever IT issue they had. They'll call you. But yeah, I worked there for 3 or 4 years, and well, they call them seasons. So 3 or 4 seasons there, and spring training, they'll fly you out to Arizona. Oh, I fell in love with Arizona.
It used to be not far from us in Florida here.
Yeah, it used to be in Florida, which was, I heard that facility wasn't the best.
No, yeah, it was in Winter Haven. Winter Haven was dumb.
Yeah. But in good years, that's where I came on. So they used to fly us out there, and we'll stay there for 2 weeks to a month. And, just, working on the computers down there, setting everything up. But you'll be in the condo, and condo had a pool, and there'd be some other people that work for the Indians down there too. And it was a great time. And out of all the jobs that I've worked, it was one of the ones I'm definitely going to miss. We had a great time. I met a lot of cool people. I'm still friends with a lot of people there. I mean, big shout out to Whitney Kuzma, Jeff Coyle, Al Fisher, Nick Carosi, and everyone else there. Matt Smith. Those are my IT nerds.
That's awesome.
So it was a good time, and I definitely had a blast there. Had a blast, and like I said, you felt like you were part of the organization, to the point where I used to watch Indians games, but when you work there, you watch every damn game. There's 81, 82 games. You're watching all of them, but I worked most of them too. So I was there watching them, working them. It was just like you bought into that. You were drinking that Kool-Aid for sure. But it was a good time. When the fans cheer, you feel like they're cheering for you. And it was awesome. I definitely, out of all the jobs, I definitely missed that one, especially all the people down there. They're just good group of people for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
No, I bet that was a super cool time to be able to do that at a time when they were really playing tough at that time. I mean, it's I don't know. I like Cleveland baseball. I've always been a huge part of Cleveland baseball. I always enjoyed watching them, and so to know that you got a chance to work in the organization, I mean, that's got to be awesome. Got to be awesome.
Yeah, my you can't see it now, but this it's all Indian stuff. Every bobblehead for the last 3 or 4 seasons I have, and I collected every single one, and it was an awesome time, man. And like I said, you felt like you were a celebrity. And my personality, I talk to everybody. So, if the players were down there, I BS with them, or coaches, I BS with them. They're all jokesters, So it was a good time, man. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
I miss it because I used to work out all the time down there. Now I'm a beer drinker now.
New profession.
Yeah.
You've aged.
Yeah, I'm a professional beer drinker.
Yeah, I'm like, you've aged. That's too funny. That's awesome. After the 2015, you decided then, I guess, to make a move to Cleveland State.
Yeah. So I went to Cleveland State, and it was just for a short period. I moved there as to work in the security department as a server administrator. And that's where I started my master's degree. They said, you come here, you can go to school for free. And I was like, oh yes, more college, more opportunity to prove to my father that I can make it. And so I did that, and they let me take as many classes as I wanted. Literally, I had a full schedule. During the time I was supposed to work, I just had to be on call. If something messed up, I got a little radio on me, walkie-talkie, and that thing would go off in the middle of class. I'm like, oh, so sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, when I started my master's, man, I took that so serious. I think my grade point average was 4.0 or 3.5. Like, it was up there. I was studying as hard as I could. And they weren't easy courses, man. Like, master stuff, it was all business, because my master was in, I don't know the direct title, but it was a business side of information technology, because I wanted to be an IT manager. So a lot of my courses were business or business analyst oriented. And I got about 80% through. Like, I took all the core classes, and then next was just kind of you pick and choose what classes you need to take to supplement that master's. And I never did finish it. And I always thought about going back, because that, one thing I tell my kids, is you're going to start something, you're going to finish it. That's what you do. And it's one thing I never did, but it's because it didn't, I don't want to say it didn't have any value, but it wasn't going to make me any more money.
Sure,
it was just,
sure. I get what you're saying.
It was just something to have at that point in time. And, it was something that I think for me, it was like just proving to my father that, I'm gonna keep going with this college thing and prove everybody that I could do it. So never did finish it, but I like literally 80% done. Like, I could probably finish it in a year, but it's like, maybe 1 year I'll go back.
Just say I'm the master. Like, I'm the master.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, like, if I were to go back and get that, it would mean so much to me. And maybe I will if I find time. Like, I'm busy now. I go to bed probably at 2 p.m. every day. Hopefully some days it actually, some days it's less than that. But man, between day job and unplugged job, I'm busy, man, 24/7.
I believe it, man.
Yeah.
After you said you did a short stint at Cleveland State, and then you then joined Highland Software.
Yeah.
During the Highland Software time, I want you to talk first, if you can, about Highland Software and what that was to you, because it gave you a good couple of years. And during that process is started the brainchild of Unplugged, or what Unplugged is today. I mean, I can't say that was when it all came together, but I know that you started kind of brewing that up. No pun intended.
Yeah. So it was my cousin Lorain. I was at Cleveland State, and she said, "Hey, Highland's hiring, and I think you should interview. I think it'd be good for you." And I was like, "Well, I'm kind of cool where I'm at. They're paying for my school. I want to finish my master's, but the pay wasn't there, But they've made up with it with going to school." And I was like, "All right, I'll give it a shot." And I never heard of Highland before that, right? So I put my resume in. They gave me a call. It went really well, and they invited me in. And I go in. I was like, "What in the world is this place?" Like, they got slides. They got like this game room. They got like all this stuff that you see like Google does. They got all this stuff like on TV you see with Google. And I was like, man, I immediately drank the Kool-Aid there. Like, I immediately like, oh my God, like this is what I want to do. Like,
You're like, what?
Yeah. I want to come to work where there's a slide. Like, that, literally, the slide does nothing, right? You go up and you go down, and that's it. But I saw that, and I was like, man, I have to work at this place. So I told them, I'm interested, blah blah blah. What do I got to do? They were like, yeah, we sell this software, and we want to hire you on as a technical consultant, and pretty much you work with the customer and you install the software for them, you get it up and running, blah blah blah. There's some other stuff too, but yeah, the environment there was just absolutely amazing. It's like those shows you see on TV with just Google in general. It was like that. It was like a mini Google. I think that's what everybody called it. And it was just fun. Like, if you wanted to take a break from your day activities and go shoot some basketball, by all means, go take a break and go shoot some basketball. I mean, we would play, man, we would just take a break every day, go play volleyball, badminton, basketball. Man, they had everything: video games, like PlayStation, Xbox, foosball, like whatever you wanted, they had it there. And it was like, it was a breath of fresh air, like, because you work, right? And you're able to take 30 minutes out your day to go do this, 15 minutes, 30 minutes out your day just to recharge. It was a good thing. And that's where I met Tim. Tim, our brewmaster, who is my second partner. Met him. He was on my team when I started, and we didn't know we had a passion for beer back then. My passion for craft beer really started when I got to the Indians, when I got downtown Cleveland. And when I started working for the Indians, we took a lunch, or after, because when you work there for the Indians, you don't want to leave. Like, you did not want to leave. And everybody, there's, I don't even know how many employees they had between the food side and the concession side. Like, everybody just went to the Clevelander or any other bar that's right next to it. And that's what we did. And that's kind of where my passion for craft beer really took off. Like, I loved craft beer before that, but man, when I was in Cleveland, that's where it really took off. So that's where I started growing a big following for the craft beer. So, back to Highland, Tim, we worked on the same team. And, when we went to go play basketball, it was, Tim and a couple other guys, or Batman. It didn't matter. Whatever we were doing, we were going to play. And Tim was always right there with us. And then we started talking, and, we found out that we both like craft beer, and we started talking about it. Hey, what do you ever brewed before? And, Tim's brewed for quite some time. Me, I was just getting into it. And then Highland has this internal eBay, if you will. So for everybody that works at Highland, they had this portal, which they sold things to other Highland employees. So you would go on this portal, and they used to joke about me, because it's funny. I take this back to, me just hustling, right? Like, I would always buy stuff off of, off the Highland site. And maybe I wanted it. Maybe I wanted to resell it. But man, I used to buy everything off of there. And we used to jokingly buy stuff. Like, we would buy baby cribs, or man, we bought so much random stuff, like puzzles, just put it in our pod. Because it was me, Tim, and two other guys, Chad and Cody, and we all sat in this little section. And then in the middle of it, there was a table. And anything we bought off a marketplace, there was just like a gag gift, and we put it on this table. So we had random stuff just sitting on that table, just buying it just to buy it. But I used to buy like literally everything off a marketplace, and either try to resell it or just keep it as a gag gift. But this homebrew kit came up, and it was a nice homebrew kit. Like it was better than what we were using. And it was like, some guy took 3 kegs, cut the tops off of them. And that's typically what you see. People will take old kegs and turn them into home brewing kits with a propane tank. But this thing was hard piped. It had all the gas hard pipe, came on a stand. I mean, the dude wanted like $1,000 for it, and I forget his name. And Tim calls me the king of lowballing, so I offered this dude like $300 for it. I think we settled like on $450, I think it was, and me and Tim split it. And that's literally, it was big. And we were like, Tim was living in Lakewood at the time in a studio apartment. And it was a small apartment. There was he didn't have a garage, he had nothing. We ain't about to light up a propane system in his apartment. So what we did was we brought it to my place, and we set it up in my garage. And I cleared everything out the garage. I was like, oh, this is where the fellas is about to chill. This is where we're about to get down. So I cleared everything out. I put like a little futon couch in there, a little foldable type couch in there. I put a TV on the wall, because we were just YouTubing everything. And then we put the homebrew system in there. And then that is where Unplugged started. And then we just started brewing. And that's, it started at Highland Software. Tim was right next to me. And, we found out we had a passion for brewing. It was just like, it came up on the internal marketplace, this homebrew system. And we were like, I think Tim sent me the link. And he was like, hey, what do you think about this? Because he knew I like to lowball everybody. So he sent me that link. And I was like, say less. I'm going to get it. So we went and got that bad boy. And I don't even know how we got it back to my place. I had a truck at the time. They would call my buddy Scott up, drove that bad boy over. And we literally brewed that same day. And I don't even remember if the beer was good or not. But
who cares?
we didn't care. It wasn't even about
right.
It wasn't about making good beer. It was just about, having fun and
hanging out brewing, man.
And just, not worrying about nothing. So we got that thing back to my garage. I cleared out everything and we just started brewing. But yeah, that's where it was at Highland. And like I said, Highland was a great place to work. I really do miss that place too.
Sounds like a really cool place to where you could venture out into some other stuff.
Yeah.
And look what was able to happen. You were able to make a connection with Tim, your boy Tim O'Neill. And then, you guys started something that started out as nothing, as a little brew shop in the garage. And,
yeah, that's literally where it started, man, right in my garage. And we were brewing. I mean, we brewed so damn much, man. I can't express how much we were brewing. We were brewing to like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., just brewing for no damn reason, just doing it. And to the point we were just spending, because we're making, decent money. So we had extra money just to throw around. We were buying kegs just to store all the beer. I got this Keyser, me, king of the lowball. I was on Facebook Marketplace buying everybody's freezers, right? I bought like 4 of them bad boys and I converted them into coolers.
Yeah.
And I had them just loaded with kegs. Loaded with our beer because we were making so much.
All kinds of growlers lined up.
Yeah, like literally, we bought cases of growlers, and I'm taking them to family events, and my family's like,
beer for you.
My family's always the Coronas and whatever. I'm like, no, you got to try this. They got no taste buds, so we're pouring beer. We're just dumping it at some. We had so much beer, like my Keysers could hold 8 kegs. And we had so much more that I'm like, Tim, do you want this stuff? Because I'm not, because we ain't alcoholics. So I'm like,
Sure.
Tim, what do you want to do with it? He's like, I just dumped the ones I had. So I'm like, we're dumping it. And we just kept dumping them and kept making them and dumping them, making them and dumping them. Like, it was crazy.
That's funny. That's too funny.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it too, because a lot of people, I mean, and then you find those couple though that are some hits, you know what I'm saying? That people are like, wow, are you going to come back out with that one again? Can you do that one again? I remember that from October or from, the springtime, you guys came out with this banger. What kind of pushed you guys to start really like thinking like this could be something?
Yeah. So, how did it start? So Fred, our good friend Fred and Chris, they started a brewery called Bascule in Lorain. And I knew Fred forever. And I met Chris through Fred. And we were making so much damn beer. Like I was taking it to family events. And my family wasn't craft beer drinkers. And Tim's family was, but there's only so much beer one can consume and be like, nah, we're good. So we were dumping a lot. And I was like, well, what if we just give it away? And I don't know whose idea it was, but we ended up just like, let's give it away to somebody. And it might have been, Bascule, whether it was Chris or Fred at the time. They were like, well, why don't you do an event at our place? And I can't remember at the time I don't know if we were toying with the idea of starting a brewery or not, right? Because it's all hobby, but we were doing it so much. We knew we either got to stop doing it so much or make something of it because we were spending money. I'm talking about like Tim, he's a mad scientist. This guy takes brewing to a whole nother level. And I mean, you could test your pH levels with one of those pH little dipsticks and be good. No, not Tim. I got to have the $700 tester. Right. We're spending, and this is our own personal money. We're just dropping money on everything scientifically better to make good beer. And Tim has that background, right? He has like a biology and chemistry degree. I forget what college he went to, but he's the mad scientist of the group. But back to Basque, they said, hey, why don't you come in? You can set up in the back and just give away free samples, not tall glasses, but get the small glasses and give those away, because they were new at the time. I think they were only open for a year, maybe less, and they were trying to bring more attention to their place. And I was like I said, I don't know if we had a name or not at that time, but we did the event, and it was crazy. The place was packed. And we were going to Basque before that because we knew Fred and we made friends with Chris. So we were going there anyways. So it was just easy. So we went there, we set up in the back, we posted on Facebook, we'll be up there, and it was packed. And people were just loving our beer, loving it. They were like, oh my God, what is this? What are we drinking? Is this liquid heaven? Like, we got to have more of it. So, that told, Tim and I, we were like, shit, we got something right here. We got something. Let's do another one. So we did another one at Basque. We ended up doing, I can't recall. We did quite a few at Basque. We did quite a few in Elyria. We did one in Ridgeville. We were just doing them. But I think after the first or second one we did at Basque, we ended up coming up with our name. And we came up with that name when we were still working at Highland, and we came up with that name, and we almost passed over it. We took about I want to say a good solid 2 to 3 weeks to come up with that name, to the point where we were at Highland, just, we had a little messenger app where we just messaged each other back and forth. And we were like, what about this name? Nope. What about this name? Nope. What about this name? Nope. And the weird thing about trademark and everything, any name you could think of is already taken. 1,000%. It is already taken. So we were like, oh, that name's pretty cool. Let's see if it's taken. Oh, it's gone. So we were originally going to call ourselves, and I don't know if we were originally going to call ourselves this, but we pitched the idea of Elyria Brewing Company, right? We're going to be in Elyria. Let's call ourselves Elyria Brewing Company, because at the time we were looking at buildings too. And we were like, if we go in Elyria, we'll be Elyria Brewing Company. But we quickly got rid of that because it has no meaning behind it. We wanted a name that could be a brand that could portray our image on who we're trying to be, because we started this in our garage, and little did we know it. The name now is Unplugged, right here. The name is Unplugged Brewing Company, but we didn't know what we were doing at the time. We were just having fun, right? We didn't care about working. We didn't care about bills. We didn't care about stress, relationship problems. We didn't care about any of that. All we were doing, we were unplugging. And us too, at the time, before we got our third business partner, Tim and I, we were IT consultants, right? We were both technical consultants, and we deal with customers all day long. And when I'm talking about dealing with customers, you got to deal with their problems, their things. We bought this and we didn't get that and that. And at the end of the day, it was just like, let's go make some beer. So we were unplugging from, at the time, electronically and just from people. But the brand meant so much more. It was like we were unplugging just from stress, from life, and we didn't even care. Like I said, we were brewing until like 3 a.m. and not even knowing it was 3 a.m. We just knew it was dark. Yeah. And then we took our time because no one looked at their phones. We didn't even care to look at our phones. And we look at the phones like, shit, it's 3 a.m. We gotta work tomorrow. Maybe we should cut this back a little bit. So yeah, it was that's where the name started, and that's how we grew. Like we just started doing events, and then we came up with the name. And like I said, we pitched the idea of Elyria Brewing Company, but I was like, that's not what we're doing. We're actually unplugging. And I pitched that name. It's funny. I pitched that name, and I remember the day we were in Highland, and we went through like 50 different names that day. And then I said, what about Unplugged? And I pitched kind of what it meant. Like we unplugged from the day when we're brewing. And the group chat we had, everybody was like, nah, well, it's kind of cool. And then we just went on from it. And then I don't know if it was the same day, maybe a few hours later, but the next day we circled back to it. And we were like, yeah, Unplugged. And I was like, Tim, what do you think? And Tim's, I don't want to say he's the artist of the group, but he had an iPad. And so he drew up the logo, literally this logo right here. And he drew up a hot plug and he just put 2 prongs on it. And it looked like a little 4-year-old drew it. But I looked at it and I was like, dude, that is absolutely it. The hop with a prong on top of it, that is the move. Like literally, I was like, that's the move. So he found a guy on Reddit to do our artwork. The guy drew it up, got it back to us maybe in like a week or so. And the rest is history. Once we got this logo right here, the rest was absolutely history.
Oh yeah, no, that's super cool. That was a super cool idea, super cool name. I mean, the logo is fucking awesome, bro. Like, I mean, it's a plug. It's unplugging. You know what I'm saying?
People give us a lot of like I was just in Ashland yesterday, and the whole concept behind the logo. I don't want to say the whole concept behind it because Tim just drew it up just on a whim, and he drew it up, but it came out so clean, so easy. It reminded me of like Apple, you know, those big names. It's just like Windows, you get a little window icon. It was just so clean, so simple, but everybody in the craft beer industry related to it. Yeah. And we get compliments on it. I'm talking about all the time. Our merch sales are pretty good. They love the hop and what it stands for and what the brand stands for. And just, it's so simple. It's just a hot plug. It's just a hop with 2 little prongs on it. And you know, the idea is you take that cord and you unplug it and you forget about everything. And that's what it means to unplug.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's the brainchild to it, y'all. I mean, that's how he came up with it. I mean, him and a buddy, bro, you know, out of the garage, just doing their thing, man. And that's what's cool. Mm-hmm. It's like you never know what it's going to become. And I mean, I know when I first seen the logo, and like I told you a few months back, I was really starting to see it really splashed everywhere. Everybody splashing this Unplugged. And I'm like, but I knew what it was right away. As soon as I saw the logo, I saw the hops with the 2 prongs. Like I knew exactly what it was. That it was like literally a plug. I was like, that's a fucking cool ass logo. That's awesome. You know, I wanted to kind of find out more about who was doing this Unplugged. I didn't know that it was you. You know, it was kind of funny. I told you about the story about me reaching out to your brother about it because of the fact that he was bartending at the new place that you guys just, you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm like, what's going on with this? Like, can I, you know, talk to you about it? And he was just like, no, you know, didn't answer me back. And I started laughing. And then when you tapped into me, you and I talked about it and you started laughing. You were like, yeah, that's my brother. He's like,
that's my brother, man. Yeah, I can't explain it, man.
Yeah, no, but it was super cool. I mean, super cool logo. I mean, now you guys, you talked somewhat about the beginning of it, how the brainchild came together, name came together, logo came together. You guys ended up adding on like a third partner to the system. Yeah. Can you talk about like how that process went about and like the addition of Jose Candelario?
Yeah, definitely. So, just to kind of pick up where we stopped. So we got the logo right, and we knew we wanted to do something with this. And keep in mind, it was a hobby, right? We didn't know how to run a business, right? We had no clue how to run the business, and that's where Jose came in. But before that, you know, Tim and I, we were like, where should we start this brewery? You know, and I was like, well, you know, 2 guys who have zero money. Let's think about this. Where can we start? You know, and you know, first you look at Lorain, you look at Elyria, and I was living at the Elyria at the time. Tim was living in Lakewood, and Tim sent me an email, and he's like, hey, there's a building in Elyria right down the street from you that's going for sale, and it's not that much. And it's an old car shop. You know, breweries like old car shops because of the big doors, because we have the massive equipment. You know, we got to get in through those doors and you can roll them up. And if you have a bar side, that those doors are awesome because you can turn them into glass doors. And if you've ever been in any bar or anything like that brewery, you typically see that type of doors. So, excuse me. So Tim sees this building and says, "Hey, you know, hey, lowballer, why don't you go check it out?" So I was like, "Yeah, say less. It's 7 minutes away from me. I'll go drive and look at it." So we looked at it, and I was like, you know, and I heard this noise, and I'm like, you know, the building needed Jesus. Not gonna lie, it needed some work, and you know, we get there, and I keep hearing this running water in the background, and I'm not paying too much attention to it, but I'm gonna ask this guy, like, what is that noise? But he's showing us through the building, and it's a solid building. You know, the left side's older, needs some work. The right side is it's newer and needs less work. And finally, I was like, dude, like, what's this noise that I'm hearing? And he was like, oh, that's running water. I was like, yeah, I know. That's a problem. He's like, no, come out back. I'll show you. And this building, and it's weird because you don't know that this building, and you go over a bridge to get there, but you don't know it's sitting on the Black River. So you go in the back of the building, and there's this beautiful waterfall. Wow. And by then, we got our name, and we got our brand. We know what the name stands for because we've been doing it ever since. We just didn't know it. But now we got the name to go with what we were doing. So, and then I see this waterfall, and I'm telling you that the noise, the sound, the feeling, the emotion you get from just hearing a waterfall. Yeah. I was like, oh, this building, this is it.
Calming. Yeah, it's calming.
This building we are going to get. So, I mean, literally that day I went home and we chopped it up, me and Tim. And I was like, dude, I put an offer in. It was low as hell. And I put this offer in. And then at the same time, I think the next day or next week, I had to go down to Cincinnati for a customer, and they wanted me to stay there for a week. And I was like, we had no money to get this building. We put an offer in with zero, like no money. Like we got some money, but literally no freaking money, me and Tim. And I'm like, shit, we need a third in this business. Like we need a third. And I was like, who can I call? You know, and I Jose Candelario is a good friend of ours. We actually share a cousin. And I knew Jose. He graduated in 97. He graduated in 98. Yeah, he graduated in 98. I graduated in 97. I knew Jose. We went to school together, right? And we went to the same church, and I knew his family. And like I said, we shared the same cousin. And I knew his dad was a big accountant. And he helped me actually when I was going through my master's. I actually reached out to him to help me because I was doing project management courses. So I'd ask him, some questions about project management. So I knew he was working for a huge project management firm, and he worked on large customers. I'm talking about $1 billion customers. Like he ran projects like that. So I was like, this is our guy. Like I got to get him to do it. And originally I was only going to get him to do our business plan. So I called him and he was like, yeah, if you know Jose, yeah, I'll write you the best damn business plan ever. Screw these lawyers. Ain't no one better than me. Yada, 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 yada. Right. And, I was like, cool, that's good. Cause we need a business plan. Cause I need money. I don't know how I'm gonna buy this building that I just put a bid on. Right. And they're already asking me, if you got pre-approved, all that stuff, because, they won't take you serious unless you get pre-approved. And I'm like, yeah, of course I've been pre-approved. Yeah. I sent them a letter that I made that I was pre-approved. And I was like, shit, like I got to figure something out. Cause I want this building because we were dead set at making a brewery. Again, we were like in a hobby mindset. We didn't know nothing about business. So Jose was like, yeah. And literally that same day I called him. I was at I was at a Chinese restaurant, and I called him and he gave me that whole, spiel on how he's going to write the best business plan ever. And then I hung up with him, and I believe I called him right back. And I was like, dude, like, you know what? The whole business plan thing is cool, but why don't you just come on and we just be 33.3% partners, right? We'll just do it all. And he wasn't sold. Like he was not sold at all. And I literally had to pitch what it meant to Unplugged. And by then we knew we had our brand. We had our mission statement. And we were living it every day. We didn't give a damn about what was going on in the world. When we were brewing, we were unplugged. You couldn't contact us. We were just in our element, and we were stress free. So, I pitched that whole thing to him, and he was sold. Like, he was like, all right, I'm down. So Jose jumped on, and really, he changed everything. I'm talking about he changed. We sat down, and I don't know if it was through a video conference or whatever, but he was like, let me show you guys, what hobby money is, what break even point is, and then what making money is. Like, he turned the unplugged hobby into a business. He literally did. So when we started, it was crazy, because just the admin work that goes behind the scenes, I love brewing, and Tim always took the forefront in brewing, because he had that drive just to make the best beer possible. For me, it was just about unplugging and having fun. If good beer came out in the end, so be it. It was never about the beer for me. It was just about me hanging out with my dudes, man. That was literally it. But for Tim took it to a whole nother level. It's like, no, we're going to make some good shit, and it's going to be the best damn beer you ever saw. So help me God, right? So when we started this business, it was like, all right, I'm good at talking to people. And so he was like, you're sales. Tim was like, I'm production. And then Jose just did the admin, legal, finance, the business side of it. And when we got together and we started doing this, it's like, all right, Jose sat us down. I was like, dude, this isn't a hobby anymore. Like, if you own this building, here's your mortgage, right? How are you going to pay this? And I was like, I don't know, with friendship and happiness. He was like, yeah, that's not flying. That's not flying. These are the numbers we have to hit. And he took everything down to, he built this, I'm talking about this ironclad business plan, which laid out, our production as far as, all right, this is how many kegs we're selling. This is how many cans we're selling. This is who we're selling to, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, this is kind of fun. Can we just go in the garage and make beer? But it's a perfect blend. We bump heads all day long. I'm talking about all the time. There's times I just want to uppercut either one of those guys, like, really. But it's perfect. We know our roles, and you see a lot of businesses in general that go under because the people don't have their role set and who's doing what. We know who's doing what. Now, sometimes we forget, with our busy schedules and all that, but it's a perfect blend of three individuals, and we couldn't do any of this without the other. We couldn't turn this into a business without Jose. We couldn't make the best damn beer out there without Tim, and we couldn't build the brand without me. So it works perfectly. But us getting Jose into this was the right move, and it quickly turned this into being a hobby, into a business with a business plan that we execute against. So it was awesome.
That's awesome. That is, yeah. That's awesome to hear that. Awesome to hear the story. How you guys all brought it to life. How long now has the brewery now been? I mean, I know that we just went through this COVID, span, and you haven't really talked about how that's prolonged the process for you.
Yeah, let me talk about that.
Yeah, I'm like, can you kind of somewhat dig into that? Because I want to talk about like this period, and what you guys have been going to lead up to, like, right now. Let's not dig into the future yet, because I want to talk about the future as well. I'm going to go solo screen with you and let you talk about the process of COVID, and then I'll bring myself back in later in the story of kind of where you're at now. Okay?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. So, excuse me. So, it's funny because we signed for the loan. The loan itself, we signed. The governor was on on TV, like literally on TV as we're driving there. And he's like, hey, you know, fellow Ohioans, we're shutting everything down. So starting tomorrow at 10 p.m., whatever the time was, bars are closed until further notice. You're not allowed to go outside until further notice. Some convenience stores and food spots will be open, but that's it. And we're literally sitting in the signing for this, right? We're sitting in Cleveland on 9th Street somewhere, and we're ready to sign for it to the point where the loan officer is like, you guys sure you want to do this? Because your business plan says all kegs. Like, we weren't going tap room at all. Tap room was something we wanted to do because the margins are better, but we still had our day jobs, right? And we still do to this day. But it was, we didn't want to quit our day jobs because we didn't know if we could make a brewery happen in Elyria. We were worried. And the guy was like, are you guys sure you want to sign for it? This is, it was like a $300,000 loan. And we were like, we didn't even think twice. We were like, yeah, why not? Why not? Let's make this happen. I'm like, I'm never failing, right? You only fail if you stop. And as long as I never stop, there's no the word fail doesn't exist. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. You guys are on board. Let's do it. And we were like, yeah, screw it. We're signing it. So we signed the loan, knowing that everything was going to be closed. And that changed our business plan. And literally, the business plan we had, you crumble it up, throw it out the window. It had no meaning because it was all kegs. And no one's taking kegs. So we had to quickly say, all right, well, what are we selling to? Who are we selling to? And it was like, well, the only option was cans. And we didn't own a canner. We didn't even know where the hell to get cans from at that point. We were just like, we know it's got to be can. It has to be. We have a loan that we just signed for. They gave us a few months to start paying on it. So they were like, I think it was like 4 months, and then you get your first payment. And we were like, all right, we could do that. But now we have to go to cans, and now we have to start. Do we buy a canner? I don't even know how to operate a canner. The only canner we had was this manual feed little, you put one can in, bam, close it, another one. I'm like, these tanks, one tank makes about 2,500 cans. And I was like, we ordered 6 of them. Like, I'm not canning that many cans. And we actually called the manufacturer and we're like, all right, our business plan changed. We were going to make, a ton of kegs. Now we're only making cans. I don't need six fermenters. I probably can get away with 3, because each fermenter, like I said, is 2,000 to 2,500 cans. And our business plan was per month. How much can we sell per month? And I was like, man, I could probably do 6,000 cans per month. I don't know. Never done it before. But I know damn well I'm not doing 12,000. I was like, I don't think anybody's buying that many cans per month. So we called the manufacturers like, yeah, we signed for the loan, but we only want 3 fermenters. So we got the 3 fermenters. They came in. In the meantime, the building's not even ready. We're not even ready to be open. But you can't order the equipment without the full amount down. So we had to pay for everything up front. And I think we bought everything in the summertime of 2020. Yeah, we got the building like in 2018, 2019. And we just sat on it, just doing the what we can by ourselves. And then we got the equipment like summertime 2020, maybe even early, like February. And we had to do that because they would not put an order in for the equipment unless we paid it all off. So we sent that in, and we're still trying to get the building ready. But we finally opened it, and it's open in December. We do our first can release, and everything went to cans. And one thing we did with the cans was we sat down and we were like, all right, we're going all cans. There's no kegs. There's no bar. There's not even we weren't even going to do a tap room. That was not part of our business process. And we were like, all right, well, how do we stand out? How do we stand out from the rest of the people, right? And if you know the brewery community, it's not competition. I can call our good friend Matthias from Unplugged Brewing Company. He'll come over and he'll help us make a better beer, and vice versa. That's just how the brewery community is. But you know, at the end of the day, you gotta sell your business, you know, or it's a business. Like I said, Jose gut checked us, and he's like, dude, this is hobby money, this is break even, and this is business. So we know we got to sell. So how do we stand out from? How do we portray our brand with cans? And as you can see, we got these cans here. It's the artwork we put on it. We hire legit real artists. We hire real artists, and it's expensive. It is not cheap. But they design the cans label for us, and we don't give them too much. We don't tell them really what we want on it. We give them either the name or we give them some hints to what we're thinking, but we let the artist become the artist and put their artistry on the can. And that's pretty much was our focus for every can art. So we would sit down and it would be over beer, or whatever it was, just goofing off, and we would come up with a name. And then we would say, oh, this would be cool on the artwork, or this would be cool. Or sometimes we just had the name and we'd send it to the artist and be like, I don't know, just make it up, see what you guys come up with. And, you know, we get so many compliments on our cans and our artwork that people collect them. I get people texting me shrines of their artwork. They'll send me their office and they'll have all the cans that we made. They collect them. I mean, it's such a great feeling to see that. But yeah, we went straight to cans in COVID, and it was scary. We didn't know. We opened up in December, and we released our Christmas ale. We released the Christmas ale we did, and a Pilsner we did, and I think Cascade Park, which is our pale ale. We released those three, and we sold out like in 2 days. It was absolutely crazy because we weren't sure if Elyria was a craft brew city. We knew Cleveland was. And actually, our third business partner, Jose, he wanted to go to Cleveland. You know, he's like, that's where the beer's at, this and that. And I was like, no. You know, we were like, beer it's really, it could be a neighborhood thing, right? Like I could see a brewery being spun up in a neighborhood and doing successful because people love the thought behind a brewery, right? And our brand and our image really played into that. And it still does to this day. So we sold out. And now I wish we had those 6 tanks, and we actually we're buying those now because we're doing really well. But yeah, we sold out in December. We did another can release 2.5 weeks later, sold out of that. Did a third can release, sold out. I think we sold out our first 3 or 4 can releases within the first 3 days. And then we started just making more beer, making different styles, and it started to level out. But we're doing really well. Like I said, we purchased more tanks, but it was scary. It was absolutely scary. We were worried about the COVID guidelines, how to do this and that, and just signing an epidemic was, who does that? Like literally, who does it? But I was like, my mindset has always been, and this is what I tell my kids: if you're going to start something, you're gonna finish it, and there is no such thing as failing. Failing is not a word that doesn't exist. It truly doesn't. If you think about it, you only fail when you stop. So if you don't stop, you never fail. And I knew that, and we just weren't going to stop, and I wasn't going to let anyone stop. So I knew we weren't going to fail. Whether it took a year, 3 years, it didn't matter because there's no such thing as failing.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, glad to hear the story. Glad to hear, the process of what it was like, going through what you guys were going through and trying to still establish something at a time when things were tough, and
yeah.
I mean, you guys kicked ass, dude, and now you're coming out on the other side, ready to rock, and that's what's important. You guys got to keep it going. I mean, you're just starting to scratch the surface of what it is. In this business industry of brewing craft beers, and I'm looking forward to see what the future holds for you guys, because I'm gonna keep promoting you, dude, and keep pushing, man, for Unplugged, man. Super cool idea what you guys have done, and appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and talking about your life, in particular, but then getting into Unplugged, and now we've been able to chat about Unplugged and kind of you tell your story about that situation.
Yeah, yeah. It's easy for me because I love the story. Because we were doing it before we knew we were doing it, right? We were just, three guys, and we worked a lot, and we still do. Like I said, I don't go to bed till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Majority of the days. And the days I do go to bed early, like I'm thankful for that for sure. And when I do go to bed, I'm like, shit, like I'm what am I slacking on? Because there's probably a million different things I can be doing instead of going to bed early. But the whole concept of Unplugged started, whether it started in the garage or not, it was about these guys just forgetting about stress, life, bills, whatever problem you were having, and finding time for yourself. And I think Unplugged shines now because of COVID. Like, people need to unplug, especially in the news. The news took COVID to the extreme. Like, people like, hide your kids, lock your doors, stay inside, don't breathe at some point. Like, wear like 5 masks, and people needed to unplug, and that's what it means to unplug. We want you to come into, now that we have a tap room, like we didn't have a tap room then. We do now, because everybody kept asking for it. Everybody's like, you got to get a tap room. You got to get a tap room. And we were like, all right, we're going to get a tap room and keep it small. And there's no TVs, 0 TVs in our establishment, because that's how we started it, right? It's just, we want you to, TVs make zombies, is what I say. And I'm a big Browns fan, and I'm a big sports fan, huge Browns fan. I got season tickets. I want to go and watch the game. If I can get Red Zone on Sunday 24/7 and watch it, that's where I'm at. But we don't believe in that in Unplugged. We believe you should find out who you are and meet new people, and just unplug. And I get phone calls to this day. Like, I get phone calls because our business line routes to my cell, and I shouldn't have said that, but but people call me and they say, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I was worried because you guys didn't have TVs there, but I had the best time of my life. I got out of my shell, and I actually met a group of people, or met an individual, or whatever it may be. And now I know what it means to unplug. And for me, that means the world, because that's where we started. And if you can get that, then I know you get what it means to unplug. And man, that feels great. Like I said, and I tell this story all the time, and I say, it was never about the beer. For me, at least. For Tim, probably, because Tim, he wanted to make the best damn beer he could make. But for me, and it's just Unplugged in general, it's never about the beer. It's about making people come together, building the community, doing something that you normally wouldn't do, getting out of your comfort zone, and just finding out who yourself are, just meeting new people. And then the beer comes second. And I don't want to toot my own horn. The beer is good. Not going to lie. Tim makes some killer beer, but it's not about the beer. If you come to our place and only drink water, that's more power to you. I don't care. All I care about is that you leave our establishment and you didn't worry about tomorrow. You didn't worry about the past. You didn't worry about anything except for the present, and you were having the greatest time of your life.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Yeah. It's about the experience, dude.
Yeah, so that's all we're about, man. It really is.
The beer's the icing on the cake, bro. The beer's that icing, though. It's like makes everything, more vocal. It's a lot of people, they break out of that show. People call it liquid courage and shit, but sometimes people need that a little bit to even break out of the show to have a conversation. It's not always about, bad physical encounters. Sometimes people just need to sip on a brewski, man, and be able to chat with those around them, and that's awesome that you've given people that opportunity to do so, man. Yeah, super stoked for you, bro. Super stoked that you've been able to come on and do your thing. and tell the story of Unplugged. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put you solo one last time. Have you kind of tell people, go ahead and plug Unplugged, as we said.
Yeah, definitely.
Plug it. I'm gonna
yeah. I could do that. I could do that.
I'm gonna let you ride and do your thing, man.
Yeah, so let me say thank you for having me first and foremost, and for all those listening. If you're in the area or the surrounding area, Lorain County, Cuyahoga, whatever it may be, come check us out, because we are not about the beer. But we do make some good beer. Not only do we make beer, we make seltzers, and we actually make beer slushies or seltzer slushies or just weird kind of fun stuff. Because we try to make something for everyone, right? We believe in giving everyone the opportunity to unplug, not just beer drinkers. Jose, our third business partner, he's not a big beer drinker. He's definitely not. He was brought on because of his business intelligence. And he's more of a cocktail type guy. So a lot of the seltzers that come through, that's his idea. The Paloma, the ranch water, those are his concepts. Because we want to create an environment not around beer, but around the community, around people. And so we have to give something for everyone. And like I said, if you come to our place and you just drink water, we got that, But if you do like beer, man, we got a wide variety of beers, and we have a wide variety of seltzers, and we can do mixed things with that and keep it fun and interesting. But like I said previously, Unplugged is all about the community, and it's all about people and bringing people together. You can go to a lot of breweries and you won't meet the owners. You're going to meet us because we are there. And we're there pretty much every day, and we are willing to talk to you. We will sit down and talk to you, and we talk to some really interesting individuals, and we don't care. It's all about meeting people and understanding that they are there to unplug and just have a good time. And if it means me sitting there with you, chatting for the rest of the night, so be it. We're going to do that because that's who we are. So when you come to Unplugged, you're coming to meet the people who started it from a garage in Elyria. It wasn't much. We had a couch and a brew system. But that's what we're about. We're about the community. We're about the people first. And then we're about the craft. And we honor the craft. I'm talking about we pay a lot of money to honor the craft because we believe to do it right. We use reverse osmosis. There's not a lot of breweries that do that. I don't know one that does because it's an expensive process and the most expensive system to buy. But beer is 96% water. And we believe in starting with the cleanest, absolute cleanest water possible. So we use reverse osmosis in our beers. We pay the extra money to use all real fruit ingredients. All our beers are made with real fruit first. There's some flavors you have to resort to extracts to get to. But the Unplugged way is to use the expensive process. And to tell you, the money we could save on just doing extract is crazy. Every brew we do, we can do $100 in extract, or we can do $900 in real fruit. We always go real fruit. We never sacrifice it. But that's just the Unplugged way. We believe, like I said, we're about people, about having a good time, and we're about making great beer. So that is the Unplugged way. If you haven't been to Unplugged Brewing, I telling you, come on down. You don't have to be a beer drinker. We have a lot of non-beer drinkers that show up just to talk, just to hang out, just to see the waterfall, just to get away from stress. And that's who we are. And that's what we embody. So you don't have to drink alcohol. We will find something you drink. You can bring your own drink. You can bring your own food, and you can just sit here and chat with us. We will take you up. So that's Unplugged. And if I can, I'd like to plug some of the events we have coming up, just to come check us out. So we have our current customers that sell our beer, and we like to do an event every week. So this Thursday, downtown Lorain. If you're nearby, come check us out at Speak of the Devil, downtown Lorain. We're hosting an event there. We're also doing a couple of few big brew fests. So July 17th, we got the Brewology Beer Fest. That's at Cleveland at the Great Lakes Science Center. It's going to be a great time. After that, we're doing the Grand Slam Beer Fest in my own stomping ground at Progressive Field. That's going to be the 31st. August 14th, we're doing Black River Landing over in downtown Lorain. That's called the Brewfest Waterfront District in Lorain. And then we got another one August 28th in Avon Lake, which is the Avon Lake Brewfest. So come check us out and get unplugged.
Definitely, dude. They got to. They got to come check you out. If you guys are looking still, if you didn't catch what he was saying there, check him out on unpluggedbrew.com, Unplugged Brewing on Instagram. He'll keep you guys updated and kind of let you know what's going on with him, man. Super happy, dude. Super happy to have you on, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's like I do this little bit right now with everybody I have on called Pick Your Poison.
Oh, God.
And what I do is I give you kind of a couple multiple choices. First multiple choice, is one thing, and then your second multiple choice is going to lead into the third for you. So the first multiple choice, like first question is IT or beer?
Man, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'm going to say why. Because in the brewing industry, a lot of people who start breweries, engineers or IT. It's just because of that scientific background. But beer, hands down.
All right. My next question for you is working for the Cleveland Indians or working for Highland Software?
I'm going to give it out to the Cleveland Indians, man. I was a celebrity out there. I'm not going to lie, man. I loved it. I ate it up, man. I really did. But Highland, man, second, definitely.
That's cool. That's cool. And then I guess, since you answered Cleveland Indians, would you rather work for Cleveland Indians or work for yourself in Unplugged?
Oh, myself. Dude, I hate working. I hate making money for someone else. I hate it with a passion.
No, I get it, man. I mean, it's awesome. Awesome to have you on, dude. So proud of what it is that Unplugged's doing, dude. We're going to definitely, keep in touch with everything. I reached out to you about this and you reached back and we've been chatting back and forth, and it was cool to talk to you earlier in the week, dude, and chop it up with you. And, and you were able to bring those stories up again tonight for the crowd so that they were able to see it, and I'm like I said, dude, I'll keep watching you, dude. And I want you to know that, man, because I'm definitely interested in what it is that Unplugged is doing. I already told you already, man. I sent you my address. You better send me some of that swag.
Oh, man, you got it. Swag, no doubt. You got it, brother. All right, man. I'll holler at you.
All right, big guy. I appreciate you, man. You take care of yourself. I'm going to just put you backstage and do my little outro, and then we'll chop it up after, man.
All right, later.
All right, big guy. Yeah, that was Carlos Lopez from Unplugged, man. I'm super happy to have the guy on, man. Great character, great representation for both the city of Lorain and Elyria. Really trying to work hard to bring that community together on both fronts. Elyria is right there in Lorain County. And he's working hard, and they went through a hard time with the COVID situation, but now they're ready to attack the aftermath and make it happen for Unplugged. And you guys got to keep a lookout for them. If you get a chance to go and support them at these events that are coming up, like I said, check them out on unpluggedbrew.com and, Unplugged Brewing on Instagram is, great guy, great representation for what it is to be, somebody in the brewing industry. He said his boy Tim O'Neill's a great brewmaster. Check him out. I know Jose Candelario since when we were back in the day. Good guy, business minded. He knows his thing. And Carlos Lopez, the marketer, the salesman. He's a good guy. Go check him out. Go have some conversations with those guys. They'd be more than happy to indulge. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my final quote of the night. And it's going to be somewhat about being a parent, with Father's Day upon us. Sometimes we get caught up in the way things are and the way things just have grown to be now in parenting. And sometimes we forget that we need to be the parent they need and not the parent they want. And as tough as that is sometimes, that's the way life is. But we got to stand up for them. And one day they'll understand why we're so tough sometimes. But with that being said, the business, let's be real. Episode 28, over, out.